Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 37th annual Children's Cancer Foundation Gala. 37 years. The mission does not stop. In fact, even a pandemic didn't stop us last year when we did it all virtually, so it's so great to see you all here in person. My name is Mark Viviano. I'm the sports director at WJZ-TV in Baltimore. I work, as I say, in the toy department. It's all fun and games what I get to talk about. This is the real stuff, and these are the real heroes you're about to meet and hear about tonight. To get things started, I would like to introduce Serena Page, who will begin our program with the singing of our national anthem. Serena.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. And thank all of you for being here. This event is possible because of your open hearts. And we are going to, tonight, meet some of the important people behind what makes CCF go. A few housekeeping notes. As you enjoy your dinner, the food stations are the same on each side here of our room. They will not be staffed during the program. They will certainly reopen after the program. Coffee and dessert will be available starting at 9 p.m. And if you are bidding on any auction items, the silent auction closes at 9:45. All right, let's start with some award winners. My pleasure to present the Hero and the Fighter Awards. I'm honored to present the Hero Award to Jean Cattell, a former Rockette. She founded the Jean Cattell Studio of Dance in 1953, an original supporter and dear friend of Shirley Howard. And since 1977, Jean has donated proceeds from her annual dance recital to the Children's Cancer Foundation. Now, during the pandemic, Jean continued with classes remotely, held a drive-in recital with recordings of students' performances. And in June of 2021, Jean Cattell was thrilled to hold this year's recital in person with 22 shows at 3 venues. Let it be known, Jean does not like to be recognized for doing something she simply loves. We are fortunate to have dedicated members of the community like Jean and her team, and we are lucky to count Jean as a friend, and we are personally touched to present her with a well-deserved award tonight. Jean.
Here is your award.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a few words. Yes, sir?
Mark is tall.
Oh, okay. But I'm going to read a lot. This is so overwhelming. This is wonderful. Wonderful. I would like to share my award with my teachers and my dancers and the Dundalk Community College and everyone who supported our cause to raise money from our shows to help the children with cancer. I send my love and my gratitude to the Children's Cancer Foundation, Inc., for this award. Thank you. Thank you. Now where? You're going this way. Okay. Do I dance off?
And Jean dances off the stage. Beautiful. All right. Now, last year, because we did this virtually, we were not able to, in person, present some awards. So we want to recognize the 2020 Hero Award honoree, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. They have been supporting CCF since 2017, and in partnership with the Bowie Bay Sox, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department hosted a charity softball game in July, managed by Lieutenants Brad Schriefer and Philip Hunt, and firefighter paramedic Jamie Swinimer. This year's softball game included an Anne Arundel County Fire Department versus the Mid-Atlantic Fire Department, competitive, and of course Anne Arundel won. Thank you to all of our first responders and to all of you in our communities, and congratulations in particular to the Anne Arundel County Fire Department on the 2020 Hero Award. Thanks for being here tonight. Where are you guys and gals? I hear you. Now, the presentation of the 2021 CCF Fighter Award. We proudly recognize the Callert Foundation, a local philanthropic leader founded in 1991 by William Callert. The foundation is now one of the largest private foundations in Maryland. Since 2017, the Callert Foundation has invested $275,000 in CCF, supporting vital local programs, also providing emergency support to CCF during COVID. In recognition of their dedication to both CCF and the community at large, CCF is honored to present the 2021 Fighter Award to the Callert Foundation, and accepting that award tonight, Roberta and Greg Callert. A man of action and few words. I like that. That's how you get things done. Thank you, Mr. Callert. Now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jerry Chadwick, the chairman of the Children's Cancer Foundation. Doctor.
On behalf of the board of directors and the staff of the Children's Cancer Foundation, I am thrilled to welcome you to our 37th annual gala. CCF is able to present grants tonight due to the generosity of the many companies, groups, and individuals who donate their dollars and time to support the Children's Cancer Foundation. In turn, CCF invests in facilities, research, and programs that treat and cure pediatric cancer. Our work is possible in part due to our terrific board of directors. Would our board members please rise? Come on, board members rise, and let's give them a round of applause. And a big thank you to the dedicated CCF staff for their tireless work in making this evening possible. Thank you, Roseanne Varelli, Lauren Lasher, and Tasha Musellis, President of CCF, who has a few words. A round of applause for the staff, please.
It's tough getting old. Got to put the glasses on. Sorry. Thank you, Jerry and the CCF board, for continuing to partner with me to achieve our mission. In a typical year, our work is hard. Cancer is hard. Kids battling cancer is unacceptable. COVID has made our work even more complicated. Programs were suspended or became virtual, yet cancer has not stopped during the pandemic. Look around this room. We have over 575 guests here tonight and many more joining us virtually. This is our community. We are strong, we are committed, and we know that it takes this village to find better treatments and cures. COVID or no COVID, we are in this together. I could not do what I do every day without the support of the CCF team. Roseanne and Lauren, thank you for your passion and dedication. There are days when I don't know how we get it all done, but somehow we do. I thank your families as well for sharing you with CCF, and a shout out to my own family who's put up with me throughout the year. Please join me in recognizing our tremendous volunteers who make tonight possible. As a staff of 3, we rely heavily on our dedicated volunteers. And to our donors who are throughout this room, you make the research and finding cures possible. The dollars we raise here and throughout the year are invested into research, programs, and facilities that directly impact children facing a diagnosis of cancer. Without your support, survivorship would not be possible. A special thank you this year to Phyllis Andrade and her team at Giant Food. Planning a gala during a pandemic was no easy feat. You made this process simple and even enjoyable. I looked forward to our weekly chats, and with your leadership team at Giant, you confirmed a record number of sponsors this year, helping CCF to raise over $350,000. Thank you, Giant Food, and your extraordinary team of employees. I also want to acknowledge Shirley Howard, the founder of CCF, who believed in the need for enabling better facilities and programs for children facing a diagnosis of cancer, but more importantly, that research would lead to cures. Her passion is the reason that CCF began, and until there are cures for all pediatric cancers, we will continue to carry on her legacy. And finally, a thank you to our MC, Mark Viviano, who is officially part of the CCF family. Rather than present you with another partnership award, sparing you from taking home another piece of hardware, I will simply say thank you, Mark.
That's enough.
Your commitment to our mission is appreciated more than we can adequately express. We know you are a busy man, keeping Baltimore updated on all things sports. CCF is grateful that you are on our team tonight. We'll return you to the Ravens tomorrow.
Thank you, dear.
No parent should ever have to hear the words, "Your child has cancer." Each year, nearly 16,000 children are diagnosed with cancer. Pediatric cancer patients are the strongest, most resilient beings I know. Please meet one of these extraordinary families.
My name is Danielle Hankey. I'm 18 years old. At first they told me that they thought it was a lymphoma, like they did not think it was a sarcoma. I had no idea about anything about cancer.
It was tough. It was absolutely tough. I took her to the hospital myself thinking that she had some sort of infection in her elbow. When they were doing the ultrasound, I'm watching them measure. And I just turned to the tech and I said, "What is that?" And she goes, I don't know. And I started texting the docs I work for, and I said, "I think they think it's cancer." So I called Kurt right before she went into MRI, And I said, I need you. And they woke me up at midnight with the diagnosis that it was probably cancer. And I just cried. I've given a lot of thought to funding of pediatric cancers, and I was very disheartened to find out how underfunded, especially sarcomas and pediatric cancer and awareness. You cannot find phase 3 trials of Ewing sarcoma. When Danielle relapsed and it metastasized to her lung, I looked everywhere. The chemo drugs that are being used today are the ones that were developed and used in the 1980s. That's absurd. That's absurd. There are so few trials out there that they don't even go beyond phase 2 because there's not enough people, because there's not enough funding for these trials. You cry in the car. Cry when you're by yourself, and you let it out, and you put on a strong face for your family, and you know that they're going to be fine. I mean, that's the only thing that you can do is tell yourself they're going to be fine. You have to trust your doctors. We found hers early, very, very early. So even with that, it metastasized. Too many people are losing their lives because the funding is not there to find better chemo drugs and or immunotherapies or other methods of treatment to cure these kids. There's no reason why they should lose their lives.
So I just finished treatment today, and I'm going to college in a couple weeks, and I'm going to major in biology on the pre-med track, and I'm planning on becoming a pediatrician. My mentality is definitely to stay strong through everything, and that I'm going to beat it no matter what happens.
Please join me in thanking the Hankey family for their participation in that video. Your courage provides me with inspiration. I'm sorry that Danielle is not here tonight, but her parents are, so if you see them, please thank them. Those on the front lines of research and those of you who work in our partner hospitals working alongside kids with cancer, we support you. To those of you out there who have lost a child to cancer, we love you. Cancer is merciless, and tragically, not all of our heroes are with us tonight. Juliana, John Eric, Cecilia, Jake, Zach, Ava, and far too many other shining lights. We remember you always. For each of you who has battled pediatric cancer, you should have received a Courage Medallion this evening. If you have not, please come find me after the program. CCF's investment in research will lead to cures. Without further delay, the reason we are all here, I turn it back to Jerry, who will present this year's grants awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasha. Our deep gratitude to Dr. Jeffrey Turetsky, Chairman of our Scientific Advisory Board. Dr. Turetsky assembled an independent team of leading oncology researchers to review this year's grant proposals. Their recommendations enable CCF to identify the leaders in cancer research who will receive this year's grants. Will our 2021 grant awardees please find your way to the stage? It is my great honor and privilege on behalf of the Children's Cancer Foundation to present our 2021 awardees. Due to limitations from their own facilities, some of our awardees are unable to be with us in person tonight. CCF will receive their award in those cases. Tonight, the Children's Cancer Foundation will be presenting grants and pledge payments in the amount of $1,128,700. Thank you. But the more important number, since our founding in 1983, the Children's Cancer Foundation has awarded grants totaling more than $41 million, supporting vital research, state-of-the-art pediatric cancer facilities, and critical programs. Please welcome James Bragan. We are proud to present the Children's Inn with a grant of $35,000 for a family support program. We are especially proud of our history with the Children's Inn, with grants to date totaling over $2 million. Okay.
So I'll accept it.
Okay. Taj is going to accept on the Children's Inn's behalf. Oh, okay. Please welcome Allison Shaw and Cliff Thornton, who will receive the award on behalf of Sinai Hospital. We are pleased to present you with a grant of $20,000 for a mindfulness program. Shirley Howard had a special place in her heart for Sinai Hospital and the pediatric oncology unit there that was named for her. She would be most proud of this continuing partnership. To date, $1.25 million has been granted to Sinai Hospital. We are pleased to present Horizon Day Camp with a grant of $25,000. This grant will provide funding for 5 children to attend the camp during the summer of 2022. Accepting the award is Mark McElrath. This is the 4th grant CCF has awarded to Horizon Day Camp, and since 2018, for a total of $85,000. We are pleased to present HopeCam with a grant of $20,000, which will provide funding for technology in the classrooms, enabling kids undergoing treatment in our area to remain in school with technology connected from home to the classroom. To date, CCF has granted $60,000 to HopeCam, and CCF will accept the award on their behalf. We are pleased to present a grant in the amount of $15,000 to the Kennedy Krieger Institute to fund a hospital education liaison program, HELP for short. In total, CCF has granted over $212,000 to Kennedy Krieger. CCF accepts that award. We are pleased to present a grant of $5,000 to Claire Marie board member Jacqueline Smith, representing the Claire Marie Foundation, which provides skin screenings for young adults. To date, CCF has awarded $10,000 for the Claire Marie Foundation. CCF is pleased to present a grant in the amount of $6,700 to our Nitra Smith and her son Nigel of Nigel's Neighborhood. The grant will help fund a prom for kids who are unable to attend a traditional prom due to cancer treatments. We are thrilled to support such an important program. Receiving the award tonight is Anitra Smith and Antonio Bannister. Please welcome Dr. Young Kwok, who will accept the grant on behalf of the University of Maryland Department of Radiation Oncology from the University of Maryland Medical Center. CCF is proud to present to the University of Maryland a grant in the amount of $32,000, the final installment of a $200,000 pledge for the Magic Castle program. Thank you to the CalArt Foundation for co-supporting this vital program. The Magic Castle is a wish-granting program that CCF has funded for many years, which provides an incentive for children to complete their radiation treatment and celebrate the end of those treatments. To date, over $3.9 million has been granted to the University of Maryland. CCF is proud to have a long history with Johns Hopkins that dates back to the beginning of our foundation. Since our inception, the Children's Cancer Foundation has awarded grants totaling more than $19 million to Johns Hopkins. CCF is pleased to present grants to each of the following researchers who are unable to join us in person this evening. Dr. Julie Asari, with a grant of $75,000 for her research in pediatric B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Dr. Charles Eberhardt has a grant of $75,000 for his research in retinoblastoma. Drs. Nicholas Liosa and Christine Pratilis, a grant of $75,000 for their research in malignant nerve sheath tumors. Dr. Jeffrey Rubens, a grant of $75,000 for his research in atypical teratoid rhabdoid tumors. And tonight, Dr. Patience Onidi is the recipient of the 5th annual grant in the amount of $75,000, named in loving memory of Juliana Carver, recognizing research in rhabdomyosarcoma. CCF also presents $100,000 toward the $1.5 million pledge for the Children's Cancer Foundation Pediatric Oncology Outpatient Unit, which opened in April 2012. CCF built the entire 11th floor of this amazing facility, both inpatient and outpatient, for the treatment of children with cancer in the Bloomberg Children's Center at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. CCF will accept those awards. They're getting a lot of money here tonight. CCF is pleased to present Dr. Miriam Bornhurst a grant of $75,000 for research in brain tumors. 7 years ago, CCF and Giant Food created a special grant award to encourage young physician scientists to pursue their passion for saving children's lives. With declining research dollars directed towards pediatric cancers, it has become vitally important to support the next generation of researchers to find the ultimate cure for these diseases. We are grateful that Giant Food recognized this important need. Dr. Carrie Toner will receive the 2021 Giant Food Next Gen Award in the amount of $100,000 for her research in acute myeloid leukemia. Awardees from Children's National are unable to be here with us in person this evening, and CCF accepts the awards on their behalf. Total grants given to the Children's National Health System to date, $6.4 million. We are pleased to present Dr. Miranda Clements and Dr. Linny John with a grant of $75,000 for their research in chordoma, which are tumors in the spine or the base of the skull. and CCF is honored to present Dr. Kristen Wessel with a grant of $75,000 for her research in osteosarcoma. Total grants given to the National Cancer Institute to date are $2.7 million. CCF is pleased to award a grant in the amount of $75,000 to Dr. Todd Waldman for research in Ewing sarcoma and Dr. Aykut Urin for research in osteosarcoma. Total grants given to Georgetown Lombardi to date total over $5.3 million. So, CCF has just awarded over $1.12 million to advance pediatric cancer research. Since 1985, the Children's Cancer Foundation has awarded over $41 million to hospitals, programs, and local researchers. Congratulations to all of our research awardees tonight. Thank you for all you do to support the Children's Cancer Foundation. I proudly introduce Dr. Jeffrey Turetsky, Chair of the CCF Scientific Advisory Board, Chief of the Division of Pediatric Hematology and Oncology, Georgetown Lombardi Comprehensive Cancer Center, a longtime CCF grant awardee, and most importantly, a very good friend.
Wow. So, yeah, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you all for coming out tonight. And it's really an honor for me to introduce this video that is going to feature a really special young woman, Eileen Fateau. Eileen had called me a number of years ago in 2016 when she was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, and she kind of said, "What do I do now?" I was honored to become her consulting and guiding oncologist to help oversee her treatment. To say that Eileen was a force and a shining light really is an understatement, as you're going to see. I'm really humbled and proud to introduce her to you, and unfortunately she couldn't be here with us tonight, but you're going to get a chance to feel her energy and passion through this video. So thank you very much.
When I was originally diagnosed, it was kind of a whirlwind. I was a junior at Virginia Tech, and it was about a week before Thanksgiving break when I started having really bad back pain. The back pain came out of nowhere. No one really understood why. And then one day I had some numbness and tingling kind of traveling up my legs, all of which finally got me an MRI of my mid-back where I was having pain that showed a mass in my spine. I did the surgery with a neurosurgeon in Salem, Virginia, and he removed the tumor. He said it went really well. I woke up and I was in the hospital for about 5 days. It was an extremely painful surgery, but got through it and was slowly but surely, recovering from my legs continuing to work. 14 days later, they were like, yeah, this is not looking too good. It does look somewhat cancerous. Didn't know what it was. And finally, it was in a Home Goods parking lot when we got called, I'll never forget that it was Ewing sarcoma, a pediatric cancer. So Dr. Turetsky was originally the person that my sister actually found his phone number on Google, and she was just researching experts in Ewing sarcoma, and we found his number. I called that number and he answered the phone call. I mean, that's unheard of in the medical field. I don't really understand how that happened, but he answered his phone and he was literally in his office. And I spoke with him for like 45 minutes, just explaining exactly what I had been through. And he immediately was like, you are my patient. At the time, it's fight or flight. You're going through it and you do what feels right, you go with your instinct, and you just get through it because you have to get through it. You really don't have another option. In the moment of going through something like that, especially as a young female, you oftentimes in a hard situation have a moment of being able to say, like, this too shall pass. I was telling myself that and I didn't actually know if it was true. You really don't know what is ahead. You don't know, Are the fevers going to continue? Am I going to, become septic? Like, there was times that I was very scared, shaking and having horrible fevers where I had a horrible infection because I was so immunosuppressed. Thinking back 5 years ago, this day seemed impossible. Like, 5 years seemed impossible. So I wasn't the only one that went through trauma. I mean, my mom quit her job. She was with me every single step of the way. My sister moved back from Kentucky and moved home and helped my mother take care of me. She literally picked up her life and she dropped everything just to take care of me. So now the support system I went through, they're by far and away the most amazing family I could even ask for. Now being a medical professional, I understand the importance of research. And the only way that research is possible is through funding. And it is a leap of faith for a lot of people because you have to go through trials and there are going to be failures with research. There are going to be, those moments where the grant didn't get that, perfect research study that they wanted, but we wouldn't have known until we tried. And I think, touching on the fact that pediatric cancer is not progressed as well as adult, cancer treatment is because of research and because of funding towards the combination of people being scared, their parents being scared and not wanting their children to have an experimental treatment. The treatment I received was the exact same treatment I believe that they have been doing for Ewing sarcoma in 1980. Like, that's crazy, crazy. Like, the fact that we haven't progressed more. And that's why I love Dr. Teresky so much, is because he's literally dedicated his life to brand new treatments and brand new medications, and he is constantly always striving for new grants and new research funding and new studies to challenge what our treatment is right now and change the normal. Having a foundation like Children's Cancer Foundation is absolutely vital in order to further facilitate a patient to get through the whole entire process, not only from an emotional standpoint, from a social standpoint, and giving them something to look forward to, laughter, normalize the entire situation, and support for the family is by far and away the most important aspect of that as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff and Eileen. What a moving testimony, wasn't that? I now proudly recognize Giant Food through the 2021 Pediatric Cancer Fundraising Campaign. They raised over $2.2 million through the sale of coupons and Roundup at the register. Our community is so generous. CCF and Johns Hopkins are beneficiaries of this effort. I also want to recognize all of our food industry partners who are with us tonight. Can I get a round of applause? Giant Food and the food industry. Tasha will now introduce this year's Gift of Life honoree, Ira Kress.
What an honor. Ira began his career in the retail industry in 1984. For more than 36 years, he has served in a number of leadership roles at Giant Food and Ahold USA. After serving in several store operations management roles, he transitioned into human resources and held leadership positions from 2003 through 2011. In 2013, Ira returned to Giant Food as a Senior Vice President of Retail Operations, assuming responsibility for all store operations for Giant Food's 164 stores throughout Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. In January of 2019, Ira began serving as the Interim President for Giant Food and was named President of Giant Food in May of 2019. And somehow, in addition to raising six kids with his beautiful wife, Heather, Ira has time to support his community, currently serving as a board member on the Johns Hopkins Pediatric Oncology Advisory Council, the Capital Area Food Bank, the USO National Capital District, and Ahold Delhaize USA Family Foundation. Not sure how you do it all. Anyone who has worked alongside Ira knows and appreciates that he makes every decision with the customer in mind. Ira has a passion for growing and developing associates. His leadership permeates throughout his intense focus on serving customers, engaging associates, and supporting local communities. Ira loves his work and leads Giant Food to be the best neighbor to its community members. Ira is a people person, loyal to the Giant brand, committed to his community, and devoted to his team. And from my perspective, CCF is lucky to count Giant Food not only as a committed partner, but as our friend. As Giant Food celebrates their 85th year in our community, CCF celebrates Giant Food as our Gift of Life honoree. Thank you for being on our side of the aisle from the beginning. On behalf of the Children's Cancer Foundation, it is my honor to present the Gift of Life Award to Giant Food and Ira Kress.
Thank you for the very kind words, Tasha, and good evening to everyone. As Tasha mentioned, I am in fact Ira Kress, but I have the absolute pleasure of being the president of Giant Food. And as such, I also have the tremendous honor to stand here and accept the Children's Cancer Foundation Gift of Life Award. But I want to be clear, this award is truly a reflection of the 19,000 associates across the Giant Food business. It is truly a direct result of their work, their dedication, their spirit, and their absolute commitment to make a difference in the communities that we are so privileged to serve every single day. This recognition is also a very direct reflection of our amazing customers and our vendor partners. And simply put, we cannot have the community impact that we do without their collective support and just incredible generosity. So I may stand here tonight as the president of Giant Food, but who I really am is just an extraordinarily lucky individual who has the good fortune to lead a company with the absolute best team in the business, the most generous customers, and most generous vendors in the entire marketplace. So I will begin tonight by offering my sincere appreciation to them, many of whom are here tonight, as you've heard through the applause. And I ask that you give them a huge round of applause. They are truly the Gift of Life honorees. Thank you. Look, when I think back over the last year or two, it's easy to appreciate that life has been, quite candidly, really difficult for everyone. Many of us have likely spent a lot of time reflecting on what the gift of life really means as we've tried to navigate through what have been the most challenging times that many of us have ever experienced. But to me, life and its challenges are all about context. And I know that when I put into context the challenges that I have faced personally or that my company has faced, and compare them to the challenges that these incredible, inspirational children with cancer face every single day of their lives, it really puts the vast majority of my challenges at a very, very low scale. And I also know that personally and as a company, that context motivates us to do even more. And it continues to remind us each and every day that we individually have the ability to make a positive difference in someone else's life. And as a company, this opportunity to make meaningful impact in the lives of others is what gives us purpose. It's truly this opportunity that drives us, and I believe it's ultimately what defines us as an organization. You've heard for 38 years now that Giant Food and the Children's Cancer Foundation have been partners. And over these 38 years, we have been honored to donate nearly $20 million to the Children's Cancer Foundation to aid in their incredible work, supporting researchers and hospitals and other caregiving programs to treat and improve the lives of children fighting cancer. And I'm thrilled to say that we just completed our 2021 Pediatric Cancer Fundraising Campaign. And as you heard from Jerry, I'm even more thrilled to say that once again, our associates, our customers, and our vendor partners prove that they are the absolute very best in the business. In less than 8 weeks, they broke all prior campaign records, raising a total of over $2.2 million. That $2.2 million will go directly toward the research and care and treatment and search for a cure for pediatric cancer through donations to both CCF and the Department of Pediatric Oncology at Johns Hopkins. And honestly, that's where the real gift of life truly comes to life. It is through the researchers, the doctors, the caregivers, the parents, and importantly, the children. In our mind, these are the true gift of life heroes, and it is their heroic work and the simply awe-inspiring strength of these children that continue to give us hope. And speaking of the children, just briefly, I would like to give a very special shout out and thank you to our 2021 Child Ambassador Superheroes, as we like to call them, Rajan, Ella, and Madeline. Unfortunately, none of them could be here tonight, but they served as the face of our campaign this year. And more importantly, they continue to serve as just amazing inspiration to me and the entire Giant Food organization. So once again, on behalf of Giant Food, our simply amazing associates, extremely generous customers and vendor partners, thank you. I am truly honored to accept this Gift of Life Award. Tonight, please share in the celebration of all of the tremendous work that the Children's Cancer Foundation does. Share a drink or two or more at the open bar. I know that's exactly where you're going to find me in about 10 minutes. And more importantly, perhaps open your hearts and your wallets and share in the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of these children and the all too many just like them. Thank you. Okay, I've evidently got to do more work. I actually want to introduce Terry McGowan. Within Giant, I affectionately call him my favorite Director of Quality Assurance and Chief of all things safety. Terry is also a very active Children's Cancer Foundation board member and Secretary of the Executive Committee. Please welcome Terry McGowan.
Okay, thank you, Ira. And good evening, everyone. Woo. Here we go. Hey, what an evening. It really is something special to be here. It's inspiring, and quite frankly, it's humbling. Representing Giant Food as a member of the Children's Cancer Foundation Board of Directors, I have only one question for the audience. Can the Giant Food team please make some noise? There we go. All right, Jerry and Tasha, on behalf of that motivated group of Giant Food associates, most of whom, that you can hear, have not been out on a Saturday night in ages, right? On behalf of the Giant Food associates here tonight, and the rest of our hardworking Giant Food associates from our stores, distribution center, e-commerce fulfillment center, and corporate office, and just as importantly, our very generous customers, it's our honor and pleasure to present this check from our Pediatric Cancer Fundraising Campaign to the Children's Cancer Foundation for $660,000. Jerry and Tasha, if you don't mind, we're going to go a little off script for a moment. Yeah, usually that's a good thing. So we heard through the grapevine that the foundation was getting very close to its fundraising goal for tonight. And we at Giant Food went to help the foundation surpass that goal. So in addition to the $660,000 donated from our Pediatric Cancer Fundraising Campaign, Giant Food would also like to present a separate donation. Can you get a drum roll out there? There we go. A separate donation of $40,000, that's 40, to the Children's Cancer Foundation, bringing tonight's total donation to $700,000. Let's do both, yeah.
Hold on, I got a little cash.
Thank you.
Very good. To Tasha and Jerry and the CCF family, to hear you thank me for being here, my only response is thank you. And with my wife, Megan, we stand together, honored to be a part of your family, and honored to be a part of this entire family that is behind the great work of CCF. So thank you so much. Also, I want to acknowledge, if I could see, Dave Johnson is here, is he not? Where's Dave? There he is. I work in the Baltimore media market, and we're right next to Washington. And we cover different teams, and sometimes we pass here and there. But through the beauty of television and radio, I feel like I know Dave. And what a great guy he is. I love his professionalism. I love his manner. I love his enthusiasm. I'm an admirer and a fan, Dave, and I want to publicly wish you the greatest strength in the health challenge that you face, and thank you for bringing awareness to it, and God bless you, my friend. Folks, please note that all these donations are going to impact generations to come for pediatric cancer patients. We want to thank all of our sponsors, everybody here. You're making a difference in fighting pediatric cancer. Note, too, that the centerpieces on your table are provided by Innovation Party Planners. Is that right, Tasha? Pretty close. The auction is open till 9:45. Continue to keep your hearts and wallets open. Next year's gala, right here, Martin's Crosswinds. Mark your calendar, November 5th, 2022.